My name is Andy Garcia. My character's name is Marsh, and we're filming The Expendables #4. He's a CIA operative who's in charge of gathering the Expendables and setting them off these two missions in the film. And he himself is part of the Expendables in a sense, but he is sort of the one orchestrating who goes where and why. Well, it's not. I've had the blessing for it not to be my first barbecue, as they say. So I've been involved in big action movies before, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I have the people that I've been working with have been it's been very easy and very enjoyable. The story is has room for humor, within the context. I think the piece is conceived as in a sense of a heightened entertainment piece, and humor I think is important in the storytelling, and I think we've accomplished that. It's actually it's always been it's the second time we worked together. We've known each other previously socially. She actually made a film with my oldest daughter, Dominique Garcia, who's an actress. They did a movie together based on an old William Goldman story, and he played a character that sort of seeks revenge for something that happened to her. So I got to know him a little bit, through my daughter, and then later socially in an event we were together. But recently, they had asked me to come in and do a character in a Guy Ritchie movie that he did recently, and so we got a chance to work there for one day, several scenes, and he's great. I get on with him very well, and he obviously is. This is a genre that he flourishes in, very much so. And it was very easygoing. I have a good time with Jason. He's there to do the work and no frills kind of thing. Get at it. And I think the scene came out nice. And think I had some humor in it, which was important. And people seem to have responded to it. That was just one day with Sly. I've known Sly socially a little bit, and what was clear, because we did some rewriting, or I should say, he started rewriting the scene based on some conditions that had presented themselves, and the scene became more humorous. And then I had some ideas about sort of adding some stuff about our backstory, which was important in the story that both his character Barney and Marsh had a long backstory together in these kind of situations, mercenary type of situations, and it was important for the story. I thought to heighten that. It wasn't in the script, and so we had some exchanges. I think that we were able to jab at each other, knowing that there was a friendship there, history, and but Sly was great. He was very funny, and he quickly showed how he's a great writer. He's a very great actor. He's a great writer, and I saw how he kind of was able to fix the scene on the day, or better the scene, I should say. It's been very easy. It's sort of very, very familiar. Megan I had worked with before. She played my wife in a film that we did called Big Gold Brick that should be coming out. I didn't know Dolph or 50 Cent or any of the other actors. And Randy I've never met. But it was very easy going. These are all good people, nice people, professional, We're all here to have some fun and try to make a decent film. Well, Scott has been great. First of all, it's always great when you have a director that knows exactly. It's like a field general, You got to know someone who knows exactly what they want, and within the fact that they're in control. There's also freedom to play, and to experiment with different ideas, and he's comfortable with those experimentations and those improvisations, which is again, I think, important for this genre, because sometimes you find magic on the day that's not even written, and you have to have the security to go, yeah, say that's working well, try that some more, let's do another take like that. So I've gotten on with Scott very well, but we have an interesting history because in the 90s, we did a movie together called Desperate Measures, and Scott was my double. He was my stunt double. So that's where we first met. and now he's he's directing the film. So he's always been a talented man, even from those days. And then he graduated to also doing second unit directing, and he started directing his own movies, and he's been a blessing for this movie. And I think all the producers, including Avi, would attest to that he's been a blessing that he came out. Well, at the end of the day, it's a relationship movie between Barney and Christmas, between Jason and Sly. It's about their relationship, and that's what's constant. That comes from the other films. There's some new characters that get introduced, like Megan's character, my character. And, you have some returning characters like Toll Road and Dolph's character, and then you have but the real thrust of it is Sly and Jason and their brotherhood. What they've done with each other, what they've done to each other, and what they're prepared to do in the future, which is basically take a bullet for one another. It's a brotherhood kind of thing.
Across UK.
Well, I guess the first question I ask is, what country are we in? No, it's been great. We've been in the UK, which is always, a joy. And then we went to Greece, which is my first time, and Thessaloniki, one of those two. And it was great. I mean, the people there, the crews, everybody. I mean, we had a lot of the Bulgarian crew with us in Greece, and then we traveled by car here, which took about 4.5 hours. It's a nice drive. It's just like customs gets a little bogged down, but once you get through, and now we're here in Sofia, Bulgaria. But a lot of the same crews with us because they were in Greece, and for a few days in the Millennium Studios. Well, you see the sets. I mean, the workmanship here and the commitment to well-designed sets and well-built are really extraordinary. We're in one of the sets right now, which is the bottom of the tanker of the ship, the lower decks. It's incredible, and I'm sure they'll keep these sets. Some other movie will come through, painted a different color, and there'll be another film that takes place inside a tanker.
Hey, what's up? This is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and you're now watching the EPK for the Expendables 4. I play Easy Day in Expendables 4. It's an interesting character. He's a Marine. He actually had 6 tours, but on his second tour, he had a rough spot in his relationship, so he got a divorce, and then it left him with just his career to pursue, and he's a guy that chose the military because it was an opportunity to continue his education and financially something that would secure him, just being there. So coming from the inner cities into the military to do this, and then after losing that relationship, he becomes completely focused or immersed in his actual work. So the Expendables later, like after the 6th tour, there's nothing that he has in his life that he invested in to lose, because there's no kids, there's no family, a whole bunch of things that allows him to keep taking the risk. It's been amazing working with Sly. He's a artist that I watched his career. Like I liked all of the stuff, right? Rocky, Rambo, everything that he did. And so there's what really is interesting to me is he created the things that he needed to have his career be a success instead of it waiting around for the things that just fall in your lap. Like some of the talent just are waiting for the perfect role to catapult them to this new space and energy, and he just went out there and made it, so he kind of has that hero career. Like if there was a career that you would point to and say that's it, it's his career. I know when he wrote those things, they was like, this would be great. I know exactly Brad Pitt will play it. Like they had somebody else in mind to play the character, and it was like, nah, this is my thing, you know. So there's a interesting, you know, like I watch him. I watch his career. It's an interesting part of his experience that I think that everyone should take note of. Right. But Scott, it's been good. Like he's a different kind of director. He's really good at communicating with talent. So, you know, I think how you articulate it or how you explain what you're trying to see or what you want is just really important. Like some directors are vague. Like they'll say things and you go, okay, yeah, okay, I got it. And you have no fucking idea what he just asked you to do. So you just do something else. You do something different. You know what I mean? And so like with Scott, he's able to come and communicate exactly what he wants you to do. And it makes it a lot easier to work with a director like that. Not all of them can tell you direct. I think the style of communication, like some of them, they choose to use like to say something that would help provoke feelings or provoke a different energy and see what you do when they say that to you instead of saying exactly what they'd like to see. And it makes it a lot easier that you can communicate that way. Yeah. The part what's really exciting about this film is the heroic action sequences and films. And this part, I think, when things blow up, boom, and the smoke is there and there's fire, and I come walking out of the other side, and you sure that I made it, you go, man, this is the best movie in the world, man. I'm not sure I'm ever going to get a chance to do that in life. But there it is on the screen. You know, this is the good part. You know, I mean, I think when you get a chance to see how this has been done well. 3 times. We're on Expendables 4 now. You know, so it's just exciting to be a part of it. We got a squad on this one. And it changes and it's always good. The first Expendables, I looked at it, I knew it was going to work. It's someone that I want to see in action. Like everyone that I watched in the action film was in this film. You know, so if you like action films, you like the Expendables. All of them was in the actual movie. It's like in one movie. It's like, I'll pay to see that. You know, it got to be good. On some levels for me, like, you know, because I think television makes stars and feature films require stars. Like you have to already be a star because you make the bulk of the money in 2 weekends, 3 weekends, you know. So they got to already know that person is somebody I'd like to see or to watch on different levels for people to tune in and draw the audience. Like other than television, you could do week by week by week. Gradually, they start to believe this person is the character and they start to really enjoy it. But you have time to do it, you know. And it's just exciting to be a part of this.
And Dolph and Randy.
Yeah, it's cool. Like you never really. When I come to 12 Amazing Actors in the actual film, it's exciting to be there when you ever. I don't ever really want to be the coolest person in the room. When you're the coolest person in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room, bro. Telling you the truth. Like, 'cause your life is not going the right way if you're the coolest person there all the time. Like, you're in the wrong place. So you gotta surround yourself with people that, you know, have their own talents and their own style of doing things. And I can get a chance to have some of that, you know, the lucky shit that comes from Slough on me. Like when I get out of here, a little bit of that juice from Jason, all of this will be right there. And then everybody will be like, yeah, 50, get 50 to do it.
That's a brilliant answer. I love that. A big artist, music artist to big an actor now in Expendables.
Yeah, what happens is, this is going to be really exciting for people to see me in the action film, like to go out and do that. And I really would like to take time out to thank Sly and to thank Jason and Megan and everybody for being here to support me in my film. You know, this is my movie. These people are in it, but this is my movie. Like, it's clear this is my movie. Like, see, to my fan base, this is my movie. Like, they're going to come, I'm going to go see 50 in that action film. And it got Rambo, and it got Jason Statham, and it got Megan Fox from Transformers. You know, the girl from the Transformers. All that. But they're going to be like, I'm going to see 50.
For the role?
Yeah, I had to do stunt training and action training. You know, I have these new relaxations things that I do for my muscles, so I don't hurt myself when I'm, when things are exploding and I'm jumping, and like the prop guys are there with the weapons, different things they were doing, and it's very very intense. They inspect everything, they do everything the right way. So we out here making a big film. Yeah, I was very involved in the costume design for a character. I got a chance to go and kind of make the character, like dress him up as we went with different pieces and put things together. And so when you watch the film and it feels like Easy Days like oddly cooler than the rest of the Expendables, it's really me picking these things out of the things that they already established for the character. So he's like probably the coolest guy in the film. But what I'd like to tell fans about going to see the Expendables is you will not be disappointed. Do you understand me? You will really love this. Like, I'm telling you directly, because when you see me like the real size version of me like on the screen, like I'm like 10 times bigger than I regularly am, and you're gonna see everything, and it feels so good, man. Like even the music in the actual film is like on point. So you're gonna get a chance to really appreciate this. It's exciting.
Yeah, hi, Dolph Lundgren playing Gunnar Jensen in Expendables 4. Well, look, the Expendables, that franchise is very special because, we've done four of these, and all the guys in the movie are kind of similar in some ways. We like sports, we like action, we have similar tastes. So the cast is very closely knit, so to speak. So for me to come back and work with Jason, and work with Sly, and see Randy again, and all the new people, it's really a blast for sure. Well, it's 8 years ago that the last Expendables was shot, so it's been a while, and now the group has expanded. We have Megan Fox, we have 50 Cent, Andy Garcia is with us. Uh, all great actors and really cool personalities that I think helps the franchise quite a bit. When Sly called me back in 2009, I think it was, and he sent me the script. Hey, Dolph, I got a script. Check it out. See what you think. So I started reading the script, and it was like I hadn't read a Sylvester Stallone script for 20 years. But he's a very good writer, and he's very special the way he writes. It's a very cynical, dark, but entertaining, and in this case, very violent world that didn't really exist in the late, say, 2009, 2010. Everything was going visual effects, and there were no real, big guys kicking butt anymore. There was no real fights or very few like shootouts with using blanks and, real weapons. So I think it kind of struck a nerve, especially with the young kids who maybe their parents are watching action movies in the 80s and 90s, but now they had something they could watch. And I think the way it was cast was very clever by Stallone because he had people who were kind of from that era, a little bit over the hill. I hadn't been on this big screen for 15 years or something like that when he hired me for Expendables 4. Sorry. I hadn't been on the big screen for 15 years when he hired me for Expendables for the first one. And then he had Jet Li, who was like, had been established, Statham was kind of new then, but then he had Randy Couture and Terry Crews and Mickey Rourke himself. So I think, and Bruce Willis was in it, Arnold was in it. So I think that, there's something unique about this franchise that, I think is continuing with this picture, and it has to do with kind of love of good old-fashioned action movies. Great. They should close the door. Funny.
You're from Sweden. My mum's from Sweden.
Oh, really? Oh,
I've got
wow.
a Swedish passport. I don't look Swedish.
No, where's she from?
She was born in Stockholm.
Stockholm. Oh,
And her
great.
brother, he's called Kjell in Rahmat. He lives. He used to work for the Strand Hotel
Oh yeah, Strand Hotel. I
So
know.
you might have met him. He's
Yeah.
and I'll show
What was she doing there?
he was the managing
Your
director.
dad? No,
My uncle.
your uncle.
Yeah, I'll show you a photo later.
Strand Hotel. Yeah, I've stayed there a few times. It's this Grand Hotel, Strand Hotel, in the same area down there, and right by the water.
Exactly.
Well, look, I've done 4 movies with Stallone, and this is the 5th one. So I'm always excited to work with him because he's kind of a marvel, and he's he just knows what the public wants, and it's always fun because he always brings something new and crazy and unpredictable to the table. And of course Jason, he's a great lead in this picture, and he's one of the few guys who can do his own fights, like we all used to do in the 80s and 90s. And we all still do. But he's a great guy to meet up with again. Randy and I work out a lot together, and we're both fighters, so it's great to see him. And then of course, 50 is a great guy. He really fits in. He's a really cool personality and big guy, big and strong. I didn't expect him to be muscular like that. And Megan, of course, beautiful and has a great following as well. And then Andy Garcia, who's a fabulous actor and also get to do some cool action in this flick too. Well, in the very first Expendables, Gunner was kind of a bad guy. He was like the traitor who, in the original script, was killed. And on his deathbed, he kind of helped Stallone catch the real bad guys, but then he died. But when we halfway through the movie, Sly made a decision that Gunner should survive. So that's the reason I came back for number 2, number 3, and now number 4. So each picture there's usually something a bit comedic with Gunner. I think he's a bit of a comedic relief because he's the only one or one of the few characters who doesn't care. He doesn't try to be tough. He doesn't really care much. He's just he has his idiosyncrasies, and he always has problems. A little bit of substance abuse, a little bit of you know concentration issues, and in this film, he's on the wagon. So he's been sober for 6 months. So he's doing the AA program, and also he's dating some girl on the internet that he's in love with. Clouds his perception a little bit. Also, age is caught up with him, so he's wearing glasses, and he's got a bifocal scope on his sniper rifle. But things don't work out that well initially for him. So, those things put together is kind of fun to play with as an actor, and it gives me somewhere to go. Like in each scene, I can always, try to massage it so that it's a bit entertaining for the audience and that they can follow the guy and follow the arc of the character and catch the payoffs on all of these different weaknesses and obstacles that he has, to accomplish his goal. Well, I like to add that, it's a real pleasure to work with Millennium, to work with Ivy Lerner, Sly Stallone, Jason Statham, Randy Couture, the rest of them, the whole gang. And it's just, this franchise is just amazing. It's just, there's something really special about it. I feel that way, and I think the audience will feel the same way when they see this picture. Hi, this is Dolph Lundgren. I'm in Greece shooting Expendables 4, and it's going really well. It's going to be an ass-kicking movie as usual, and a lot of surprises, a lot of entertainment for all the viewers of this picture.
I'm Randy Couture, playing Toll Road in Expendables 4. I'm playing Toll Road, one of the old original Expendables, and he's an explosive expert. Finally, in Expendables 4, he gets to blow some things up. It's always fun to get the guys back together, and obviously this cast has changed in a different iteration in every single movie. It's gotten bigger. This time it's shrunk down a little bit, and so it's always good to see everybody again. Good to see Dolph again and Jason again, and got a little bit of time with Sly, and it's like old home week. It's like getting the band back together, so to speak. It's always fun. This is the fourth script. Went from Sly writing the first one, directing the first one, starring in the first one. I'm like, when is this guy sleeping? And then obviously Simon West in the second, Patrick Hughes in the third. Now we have Mr. Waugh, and I think it's been interesting to see their different styles. This one is a little bit different because I think we see and have a lot less contact with Sly, and because he's so close to this property from writing the first script, where Scott in this film is there every single day, and it's a lot less of Sly. So it's a little bit different, but I like it. Scott's been great. He's very collaborative. He wants your input. He wants to listen and kind of fashion things the way that feels comfortable for both of us. So, and that's unique. I like that. Every time I get one of these Expendable scripts and I read through it, I'm like, how in the hell are we going to do half of this stuff? It's insane. And we managed to pull it off. I mean, look where we're sitting right now, on the bridge of a ship. The magic is amazing. There's some crazy stuff that happens in this script, in this movie, and I'll be excited to see how it all comes together. And I think a lot of that's going to be memorable. But I think at the end of the day, it's the dynamic with these cast members that people like, and that they're going to gravitate towards one or the other, and it's those one-liners and those things that people really like.
In terms of stunts.
I think I got my first acting job because I was an authentic fighter, and there's a authenticity and a physicality that we as mixed martial artists and Olympic wrestlers have, that we bring to the not only a built-in audience, a lot of fans watch fighting and wrestling, but also a physicality that you don't find in a lot of other places. And I think that ultimately that's what landed me in films to begin with, and certainly landed me as Toll Road in Expendables 1. Sly loves fighting. He likes a guy that's authentic and can actually execute a bunch of that real technique when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. I'm not sure how many guys I threw around in Expendables 1, but it was a lot. I think a strong bond in these characters is formed and started with the very first script and how it was written. I got to sit down on a couch with Sly Stallone and talk about this character and how he saw the character. He wanted him quoting Nietzsche, a college-educated guy that became a soldier, became a mercenary, talked about his cauliflower ear and all this stuff that was very personal to me. And I think part of the trick in acting is being able to tap into your own personal experience and bring something real to the character, some truth to the character that you're portraying. So getting to go on a rant about my ear in the first movie kind of set the tone for Toll Road for all of the films. And all my college buddies thought it was hilarious. My physical training ramped up about 3 months ago to get ready for this film. I don't think you can walk into a studio with Sylvester Stallone at his age and not bring your A game. If you're walking in there with Dunlops and eating bonbons, you're probably not going to look very good on film standing next to that guy. So you better bring your A game. I did a lot of the same training that I did as a fighter, a lot of body weight exercises. I don't throw a whole bunch of weight around. It's more about just throwing myself around and getting in shape that way. I've lost about 10 pounds over the course of the last 3 months, and leaned up a little bit. Feel like I'm ready, and both conditioning wise and physicality able to pull off the role of Toll Road. I think the coolest part about Expendables 4 is the new faces. I'd worked with 50 Cent on a movie, 15 years ago. So to be back on camera with him, meeting V and Jacob and Andy Garcia, Tony Jai. I mean, just a whole bunch of new faces and new friends to meet and make. as well as getting back with the guys on the team, the old guys. It's always great to see them and catch up because we don't, in between, it's been 8 years since the last film. We haven't really got a chance to cross paths too many times in that 8 years. So there's the new and the old, and the kind of a blending of the two is what makes this one really special.
The project.
It's been really, really nice getting to know Scott and see a different take on telling the story. Sometimes like, good Lord, how many angles of this scene are we going to shoot? But I appreciate what he's doing. He's also very collaborative. He wants to hear your opinions. If you want to tweak a line or make something fit you a little bit better, he's totally open to that. And I think that synergy really works well with the cast and the director. I think the thing that people love about these films is it's a throwback. It's this old 80s formula for action, and then you bring together some of the biggest names in action film all in the same script. And I think that's what people get so fired up about Expendables movies. I think the theater audience, when they go into the theater to see this film, are going to have a jaw-dropping experience. The action, the story, the new characters, the twists. I think there's some pretty good twists in this one that I think people are really going to like. You think you have it figured out, and then it's going to change. And I think that everybody likes that.
I'm Tunisia from Thailand and play Decha. You can call me Decha. That's a character. It's my character, Decha. He's really fast and really powerful inside. So this is why I talk with this, because the Decha has a lot of emotion and feeling, but different, totally different feeling. The first, he's like a easy, like normal guy, super guy. He's like fishing man, sweeping with the broom, like make it easy. Try to place a peace, calm. Yeah, that's it. That is the first emotion, the first character. I mean, like character is like different. So this is why I say like different, two character in one guy. Why I say that? Because unlike anything I have done before, this movie is really important for me. It's really challenging for me. Why Decha? Decha was a Buddhist monk. He was a Buddhist monk, so this is why he really calm and peace. But he's Barney, his friend. That's my background, Decha, he was ex-tax Thailand Special Force. This is his background. And Barney, his friend. But he tried to, I don't want to work, too violent. Everything, I'm really like, I want to secret, man, I want to retire. But finally, they have a job. They had a mission from the Expendables. So this is why I'm back. Decha back. Two character is the different, really totally different. It's one character is really normal guy, simple guy, and another character is like a warrior. It's warrior. It's a killing man. It's that he fast. He know everything how to kill, and more. It's like a wolf warrior. It's like a tiger. When he fights angry, power, energy. Yeah. You look is my costume, everything totally different. The first is simple, normal. It's like it's like a Buddha. It's like a monk. He's calm, smile, peaceful inside. When become the Expendable team, right? He like show you enemy, warrior. I make it like costume. I look in my costume is totally different, right? It's like a Pakchi warrior. You know what I mean? Pakchi warrior is Indian warrior or something like that. I mean, like, I feel like look cool. It's character. It's really challenging for me. This movie, Expendable 4, we have the Lord Hollywood legend action star here in the Expendable 4. And then we know about the action, super action. I fight with the Jason, and I bring like Muay Thai, elbow, flying knee, kick, everything totally different before. This is an action sequence. Wow, I think it makes people happy and excited about this. You can see Expendable 4 in the theater. The first thing when I made the Scott, I really, like Scott, okay, Tony, you know me? I don't know. I'm Scott, I'm director. Oh, you director. Okay, really nice to meet you. The first thing, I said, Tony, I really, I want to explain your character. Your character is like a you. How are you saying that? I think about this. So that's why. Because I know you about the story. So they, you was Buddhist monk before, right? Yes, how you know that? Yes, I was a Buddhist monk for a time, maybe 3 months. So this why, this is your character. You like to meet peace and calm. And if we talk about the character, so if oh yeah, I think about it, oh, I got the idea. Yeah, that's really good for me because I can use like emotion and feeling from my background, from the story. Yeah. So this why, everything in my costume, you had a talisman and the Buddha. I can bring the emotion for the movie. Discuss it. This your weapon, and then I told the Scott it. If you have a weapon, and we have the story in this knife, with knife. This is like a mantra. It's a yantra. It's the magical from the Buddhist monk from Thailand. This is like a mantra, and that means it's like protect the evil from the evil. It can come and protect everything. So this is why it's a signature from Thai culture, the mantra.
Hey, I'm Iko Uwais, and I play Rahmat, the main antagonist of The Expendables. My character in The Expendables 4 as Rahmat is a former military officer who turned into an arms dealer and who has his own partner's army and his very dangerous clients. Yeah, Karma's story is Rahmat's character changed the dynamic between the members of the Expendables 4. I don't want to reveal too much on the story, but Rahmat took something very memorable, very, very important thing, and something they will, never forget. Something that strongly motivates the Expendables to find him, to find Rahmat. Rahmat is super cold-blooded killer thing, and a master on the art of fighting and deceiving, and he's like show no mercy. Yeah, I think the audience will see Rahmat. Is the darkest character in the Expendables 4, and he has the blood lust that that put fear in the people, and a smart and it's like relentless villain. Yeah, and it's lucky for me because we worked with the professional stunt from the Jackie Chan stunt, right? And They are really good. They are really talented, and it's easy to work with. And when we, when we had a fight with Jensen Statham, it's really complex as well. And we are combined with my style and Jensen's style too, because we had already the choreographed fight from the Jesus time, but it's good for me. They gave me like whatever I want, whatever I do in set. So it's really it's really complex and really rich when you guys combine with my style and Jackie Chan style too, and kind of like a little bit share with Jason. It's like we played the knife stuff and with the stick stuff, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be cool when when the result is done. Everything is I really enjoy for this project. I mean, it's really huge for me. I mean, this is the hugest experience for me, and meeting new people, and always something that I love during a film production. But the Expendables 4, it is like more level for me, and I met someone who I know before I met. I just watched from the big theater. Now I met with the person, like the personal, and then yeah, it's great. And then it's like share everything. It's not only chemistry, but the experience. They share experience, and then all the crew. It's like a new family for me as well, and yeah, such a great experience for me for this industry. I mean, this project. So yeah, that's great. He's such a great director, a master of his art too, and he's really humble person, really funny person too, and also Scott make me comfortable on set. I think again, the Expendables is again, successful in giving a great ensemble of cast, well developed characters, and a great story plot, and a satisfying film for action movie lovers. I think I sit in the movie theaters and to get the full experience and have fun.
My name's Jacob Scipio. We're filming The Expendables, and I play Galan. And Galan is one of the new members of The Expendables. He's the son of Gal, and in a lot of ways, he's his father's son. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't necessarily think before he talks. I think a lot of his emotions come from his loins and his heart rather than his brain. Well, Galan's young. He's fresh, and like I said, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's not afraid to say what's on his mind, which I'm sure the other Expendables wish he wouldn't do. He's a bit of a divisive character in the Expendables group. I mean, it's one of those calls like when you definitely a pinch me moment. One of the producers, Yoni, who I worked with on that outpost, called me. And he was like, "Hey, Jacob, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Not much. What's up?" He was like, "Are you working?" I was like, "Not right now." He's like, "You want to be an expendable?" I was like, "Yeah." I think I do. That was it. I mean, you're constantly surrounded by these titans of the movie industry. There's moments when you're kind of in these shots with these guys and you're looking down, when you're all lined up and you see, oh, there's 50, there's Sly, there's Jason, there's Megan, and the list just goes on and on. Everyone involved in this is a legend within their own right, and I'm just happy to be invited to come and play.
For you to be involved with it.
Well, I think what you've got here with Expendables 4, at the heart and soul of it, is our director, Scott. He's he was a stunt guy beforehand, and, now he's a fantastic director. And he's a guy who directs from his heart, definitely. he knows exactly what he wants from this, and I think the action sequences are going to be bigger and better than anything you've ever seen in the previous 3 films. They were fantastic, but this takes it to another level, and I think a lot of that is to do with Scott's input. With the Expendables movies, what's so brilliant about them is even if you haven't seen them already, you know what they are. That's the power of the franchise. So in this one in particular, it is just wall-to-wall action. That's what I want from these type of franchises, and I'm sure a lot of people out there also want. It's a whole lot of fun. Just stuff your mouth with popcorn, get down to the cinema, and have a good time. Jason leads from the front. He's in the trenches every day, not only as an actor, but as a producer. He'll stay behind and give you eye lines behind the camera, even when he's finished doing all his work, which, not a lot of people know that, but he does that. And it's certainly a marathon, not a sprint, when you're number 1 on the call sheet. You're here every day, it's hard work, it's physical work, you're grinding away, mentally draining, but his energy's always up, and he's so inquisitive, and he wants to know everything what's going on in the set in a very interesting way, and it's a pleasure to watch him work and work with him. Sly epitomizes the word movie legend. I mean, he's almost like a caricature of the movie star. I mean, I think the first time I saw him walk onto set, he's got so much presence, and rightly so. And he's there walking on set, smoking his cigar. And I'm just like, you should be wearing a cape or something. You look like a real life superhero. He is so sharp and quick-witted. And watching him come up with the one-liners on the fly is a sight to behold. He's so clever and knows exactly what the scene needs. A pleasure working with him. I mean, what's great about this movie is you have so many performers who are experts in their field of stunt training. I mean, you've got Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, who are just absolute legends in the martial arts movie industry. And what's great is you can bump into them in the hotel gym and ask them for a couple pointers or tips. And all of a sudden, you're walking around with Iko as your trainer, or Tony as your trainer, or 50 as your trainer, teaching you some technique on bench press or something. That's what's brilliant about this. I mean, everyone's an expert in their own field, and I'm just here just eating up all the tasty morsels. Definitely. I had this idea of making Galan into a modern swashbuckling gladiator Zorro. So I wanted a cape, I wanted a sash, I wanted a pistol, I wanted a sword, and I wanted lots of jewelry. I didn't get all of that, but I got some of it, and I'm very happy with it. The look that we came up with in the end, working with Neil, our costume designer, who's fantastic, and Scott also, who's just so receptive to your ideas. I think we came up with a fantastic look for Galan. I think the fun thing about Expendables is that it crosses over generations. You have these iconic 80s, 90s, 2000s action movie stars who are still clanging and banging with the best of them to this day. But you also have a new generation passing through. So you've got a fun situation where you're honoring the old, I should say, but inviting the new into it. So it's a great mix, man. It really is. And I think it's gonna be enjoyable for all generations, whether you grew up watching Sly Stallone in the 80s or you're a millennial and just discovering him. I mean, what rock have you been hiding underneath? Sly Stallone.
My name is Levy Tran, and we are filming The Expendables 4. So I play Lash, who is a new member of The Expendables, and she brings in a new skill set that we haven't seen before in 1, 2, or 3, and I am very excited to showcase that talent. Acting alongside all of these legends is like a dream come true. So growing up, my dad and I would watch all these action films with, Stallone and Dolph. And then being alongside with the people who have been on the big screen or on stage like 50 or in the ring like Randy, and then there's Iko and Tony. It is an absolute whirlwind, like it's a dream come true. I'm so stoked. Yeah, very thankful. I think the audience can relate to Lash. I think the audience can relate to Lash because she brings a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of sass, and a little bit of new vibe to the film. Lash has a little bit of sass, a little bit of edge. She's smart and she's quick. She has a new skill set that the audience hasn't seen before. She has a secret weapon that she kind of hides and confiscates in her wardrobe. And I'm really excited to show it without telling too much of what it is, but it's gonna be cool once you see it. The most exciting part about filming an action film is the action part, like the training, the stunt training. It takes long hours to learn the choreography that that the stunt team has created, and then working alongside all of the people who have been in so many action films, and their talent and their speed and their quickness and their strength. Like it's so much fun to do. Yeah, so we're in Bulgaria now, and we've been rehearsing some of the stunt choreography for some of my solo fights. Tomorrow we get to rehearse. I get to rehearse with Tony Jaa, which is blowing my mind. We have a fight scene together where we kick some bad guys' ass, and so we've been doing that and learning some new martial arts moves that I've never done before. It's really hard but exciting, and I'm proud of it. It's not easy. Yeah, so working with Scott has been amazing. He is so willing to give up his time to talk to each actor. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing a bunch of action films too, you know, like Act of Valor, Need for Speed. So he knows what he's doing. He's been in the stunt world himself. So like a lot of people, the audience can expect an amazing action-packed cinematic movie. What I find exciting about the new Expendables movie is that it is going to have a new, fresh look to it. I mean, given that there are the original Expendables fused in with the new up-and-coming Expendables, we mesh well, and it's just going to be fun and a new, like, action-packed Expendables. It's going to be a new vibe. Yeah, so people who are huge martial arts fans are going to be super excited and to see this movie, because not only are there going to be the original Expendables doing like all the fight scenes, you know, the punches and the kicks, but then they added Iko and Tony Jaa, and then there's going to be like motorcycle flips and explosions, and all the different types of martial arts are going to be implemented into this movie. So it's going to be really cool. Some of the stunt challenges were learning this new form of martial arts, which I haven't done before. And then, you know, my hand was kind of flailing. And so Alan, the stunt coordinator, was like, you gotta be strong. You gotta prove to them that you can do this. And so it's taking a lot of time to practice. I'm practicing in my hotel room with the new weapon. But I got a couple of weeks to get it down, and hopefully it'll look good. I mean, separating the characters, all of the actors that I've interacted with on this set have been so lovely and open, and, you know, they play badasses on the screen, but off screen, they're such lovely human beings. And it's great, and we have a lot of fun. You know, Tony Jaa is like dancing around. Iko's coming up to people behind people and pretending to choke them out. I'm messing around with, you know, jiu-jitsu moves with Randy Couture, which is crazy. Jacob and I are constantly laughing on set. Everyone's just having a really good time on the set.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you want
My name is Scott Waugh. I'm the director of this incredible Expendables 4. Well, Sly and I have been wanting to work together for probably 5 or 6 years, and we've talked about several projects, and one of them was Expendables 4. I left and went to do another movie, so I was just finishing that, and when this came up, it was kind of serendipitous, having already discussed it with Sly many years before that, so I was super excited to jump in and be welcomed into this franchise, and to hopefully bring my kind of expertise into this with my action background. So I was excited, still am, that I think, we can give new wings, as I say, to this franchise, and have 3 new cast members that are new additions to the Expendables. So it's been an interesting ride so far, even though it's only been 3 months for me. I think the challenge with every action movie always is to say, we want to see stuff that's never been done before. And you're always like, well, I mean, everything really truly has been done before. It's just a matter of how we shoot it. So for us on this one, definitely we wanted to raise the bar and really have some new exciting stuff that takes place on a ship and stuff that you probably haven't seen. But also to go back to the original film, the one that Sly directed, and ground the characters again and make you feel and care for them, and really go on the journey with these characters through these crazy scenarios. So I feel like for us, it's really a blend, this movie, of kind of getting back to the roots of the original and trying to take the action to the next level while maintaining the integrity. The heart and soul of Expendables really is what we all say is it's like a bromance. It's what fellow men and women will do for each other in the foxhole, right? And really risk their lives and be expendable at the sake of your fellow brother or sister next to you. So it's a different level that you have in normal families and stuff like that. When you are fighting, shoulder to shoulder with somebody, you'll do things that's probably abnormal for others. And that's what's great about this band of people, right? They're different. They are, expendable. The most fun for myself on this franchise is you're dealing with actors that are really true to the action hero, because each one has their own accolades in real respects of action. Sly's undeniable in his boxing. Jason's undeniable in his accomplishments as a diver and obviously as a fight choreographer and as a fight man now, as we've seen in multiple movies. You have Randy Couture, don't need to say much about him, with his 6 world champions. You got 50 Cent, his background alone just tells you the guy's kind of pretty legit, right? You have Dolph, legitimate fighter as well. But I think the great thing on this movie is we were able to bring some bad guys to the party that are as equal in the fight arena as these guys, with Iko Uwais, as we all know, the star from The Raid, and kind of a new guy, Darren Knopp, who is one of the top fight guys in France. And so with that, it's like all these characters are legit stuntmen, and allows me to shoot them without a stunt double, which is always a pleasure for me, and really get the audience in the action and also amongst the fighting. Expendables it's a franchise that you come to have your Coke and popcorn and enjoy yourself. You're looking to get thrills, but you're also looking to have heart, but you're also looking to have laughs. I think that's the triple threat of Expendables, and I feel like we've been able to accomplish the fun factor in this movie, where you get to laugh, you get to be on the edge of your seat, but you also get to be rooting for these characters and be embodied in the story and the love story. I think it's kind of something that gets often missed. It had been in the first 2 Expendables, this kind of interesting love story between 2 characters, mostly Sly, and Jason's always kind of had his, but on this one, we really go a lot farther between him and Megan Fox. And I think it's really a new level that we're bringing to Expendables, and having a love story amongst the whole thing. I think it's been interesting to watch Sly pass the baton to Jason because it's Sly's franchise. You know, Sly directed the first one, starred in the first one. You know, obviously he's been a part of all three, and to basically say, "Here, kid, here's what we've created together, but now it's yours." I think it's an interesting dynamic because, like I say, it's let our film still be grounded, but it's got new life. And it's got, okay, now we're going in a new direction, but still maintaining the integrity of the old. And so with that, we brought in new blood with Megan Fox as well, who's doing a fantastic job in the movie. And really, it's a great dynamic between who we have in the cast, because we do have Dolph, we do have Randy, right? We brought 50 in. And so you got this really great dynamic with we got Tony Jaa came in. He's fantastic. And we brought in this newcomer. Her name's Levy Tran. She's playing Lash. She's fantastic. So you got a band of what I call the new band of misfits that are super talented, and they all have their own quirks. And together they egg each other on so that they not only do better things, but they also add the comedy of each other. And I think that's what I think this new Expendables is all about. The movie I did before this, still not out yet, but with Jackie Chan and John Cena, I got fortunate to work with Jackie Chan's stunt team. And when I came on board, there was a stunt coordinator left, and we needed to find somebody to fill that gap. And I recommended to Jason. I said, you know, I just came off another movie with the JC stunt team, and I really think they'd be an awesome fit, all the Hong Kong guys. And Jason really wanted to raise the bar with the style of fighting in this movie. And we were so blessed to have Alan come on board from the JC Stunt team, and Kevin Ta and them, and they really just did a fantastic job on the movie, and really, I think made the fights in this movie, you know, of course, still maintaining the graphicness and violence that we need for this franchise, but also adding some creativity to the fights so that it's kind of makes it even that much more entertaining. And it was a super pleasure having the JC Stunt team with us. Well, I hope from my other movies, it definitely is a reflection on my sensibilities, because I've always believed that if an audience doesn't relate and care about my lead characters, then the action's not really that fun. But if I can get you to be immersed in my characters and love them, the action becomes much better because you actually care about them. And so for us on this franchise, especially at this number 4, I wanted to make sure every single character had their own cool arc of conflict that they were trying to overcome. And each one has probably something that each audience member can relate to and identify with. And so they can go along this experience with, yeah, I used to have a drinking problem, you know, or yeah, you know what, I've lost my best friend before, you know, these kinds of things that you just identify with. And now you get to kind of go into this fantastical world of the Expendables and have that experience with them. I think Expendables is that franchise that people love because it's tongue in cheek. We don't really take ourselves that seriously. It's not a drama, you know, right? We are there to, like, I think people covet it because our lives in general, outside of going to the theater, is already really tough and very complicated and sometimes extremely stressful. And a lot of the time, we don't want to go pay to go experience more of that. We would rather pay to go escape it and go have some fun and laugh and go see some people blow some stuff up and enjoy themselves. And I feel like that's the chemistry that, you know, Sly really came up with on the first Expendables. It's all about that. You know, and I think the producers, you know, Kevin King and Les Walden have done a phenomenal job of maintaining that through the franchise, you know, and I think 4 really kind of passes the torch and lets us run with it.
My name is Yariv Lerner. I'm one of the producers on Expendables 4. In this particular one, I'm most excited about the action we're bringing to the movie. I think it's going to be above and beyond what we've seen before, and I'm super excited to see it on the big screen. Brian Smears is one of the best in the business, and having him on board really helps. But we've also had the Hong Kong Jackie Chan fight team on board. We had teams from Slovenia, Croatia, Bulgaria, England. Everyone sort of contributed. Even a German team came in. So different specialities came together to create this. Every Expendables adds a certain element that's new and exciting. Andy Garcia, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, you mentioned, you know, and this one is really also Jason's journey, where he goes off on his own and comes back together with the Expendables. So keeping the old but adding some new is a little bit of a extra spice to every Expendables. We should ask Scott how he does that, because Scott's actually the mastermind behind this. We're super lucky to have him. I loved his movie Need for Speed. I've been a big fan of him for years. I actually watched one of his shows at the IBC many years ago. He doesn't know that, where he just demonstrated how he lit and filmed the car chase. And he's bringing in something extra special. Not just his directorial style, but also his humor, his freshness, and his ability to react and respond to tough situations. And boy, have we had some. Well, we're filming in England, Bulgaria, and Greece. Obviously, everybody knows Greece announced a rebate, but we actually chose it more for the location of Greece because we knew we had a big sequence on the ship at the very end of the story. And here in Bulgaria, obviously, where we're filming a lot of the action here, we couldn't quite accomplish that in this time of year. You know, we got a limited amount of time to film, and knowing that it'd be cold and raining and having all the actors on a ship outdoors was super tough. So we went south a little bit and found a great location in Thessaloniki and built a whole ship there, and also found a steel factory, which was fantastic as well as an added bonus. And we were able to film a lot more than we intended to in Greece. Yeah, so this movie actually takes place on a ship, and there's a big bike chase on a ship and a big action sequence. And the steel factory actually became the hull, the inside of the ship. And as you said, scope and style, you couldn't dream of set dressing it. I mean, this factory, it actually presses tin, so it's got all these amazing machinery in the place already built for you, and we just kind of incorporated it into our story, and it worked wonderfully because it was, you know, big square canvas, and within it, all the set dressing was already created for us. The desire to see a fifth.
And what are your plans to continue this franchise? And
Look, it's ultimately up to the audience to tell us whether we can or can't. I mean, we love Expendables. It's a whole bunch of fun to come together with all these great actors and film it. Everyone on set has fun. There's, I think in the last behind the scenes footage, Arnold said there's a certain competition that exists amongst them. So that's nice to see. And it's just a whole bunch of fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's fun to create it, and it's supposed to be fun to watch as well. You know, we can't take these too seriously in many ways. It's just go out, have a good time, and come back. It's all the different characters come together. Each character has their own unique character franchise behind them, and coming together as into one. It's an ensemble piece, and that's what makes it fun. It's actually a love story between Gina and Christmas, and how they break apart and how they come together. Expendables, a love story.
fantastic.
I am Rob Van Norden. I'm the executive producer of the Expendables 4, and we're here now in Greece shooting with our main unit on the third day, I believe, of our Greek shoot. I think my first thought was it's about time. I think it's a movie that's been in the pipeline for a long time with Millennium. Obviously, they started this franchise with Sylvester Stallone and Kevin King and Avi Lerner, and this goes back to 2009 is when we shot the first one. So that kind of kicked off the whole franchise, and you know, there was a lot of excitement at the time about this, and we all knew, I think, even very early on, that this was going to be a franchise, that this had the potential for longevity. And there's been a bit of a gap between the third one and the fourth one, mostly because of actor schedules, which was always has been and probably always will be the challenge of movies like this. There's so many stars in the film, and getting them to align is part of the challenge. Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be in some of the vehicle stuff and the motorcycle stuff, the car chases. I mean, we have a lot of great there's some great fight scenes in this movie, but the stuff that excites me personally is really some of the stuff that we're seeing with the vehicles. There's some motorcycle stuff that's being done by professional stunt guys that are also well-known daredevils. I mean, they're doing stuff that no one else on the planet can do, just about. I mean, the level of skill required for some of the more specific action beats that we're doing. I mean, we're bringing in guys, you know, from other countries because they're basically the only ones who are capable of doing it. So when you see CGI can get you a lot. It can really get you a lot. But when you see someone doing a stunt in real life with the real bike and the real thing on the real set, you know, and there's no computer, you know, stuff, that can't be faked. It literally can't be faked. The audience sees it, the audience feels it. And I think there's a few moments in this movie where we have stuff that people will just go, how did they do it? Because, and the answer will be, someone actually did it. And the only way we got someone to do it is because we found one of the few guys on the planet who can. So I think I love that on a personal level. I love to see work of a super high quality being done because, you know, I've never seen it, and that's the whole beauty. I mean, you have the familiarity of the franchise, you have the familiarity of the action, and then you have these moments in it that are unfamiliar that take you over and above what you've ever seen before, and you go, whoa, holy cow! You know, those are the moments that, you know, you really want to shine in the movie. Yeah. Our stunt guys have a relationship with Robbie, and they were showing the producers and the director some of the stuff that he's done as not just as a stunt guy, but as an actual daredevil in Vegas and that kind of stuff. And again, he's done stuff that no one else has ever done. And even to watch it, you go, that's insane. You can't believe a human being did that and lived. And yeah, we're bringing Robbie out to work on this to do, you know, the same kind of thing. We'll have more safety precautions than the good people of Las Vegas had, because it's a movie, and no one should ever get seriously injured making a movie. But we're still doing it. These are big stunts. This is big action, and watching Robbie do that stunt is going to be, I hope, a highlight of this film. I mean, first and foremost is just energy. Scott's a very positive influence on the set. He doesn't get bogged down with details. He charges ahead. I think the actors really hold on tight to that energy that he brings to it. Again, he's bringing an enormous amount of experience from his action background. But also, I mean, he's not just an action guy. I mean, that has been the forte, and that is his background. But he has a way with the actors. He's very personable. He's very trustworthy. They know that he's looking out for them. They know that he is going to make them look good. And that trust, that knowledge, it's invaluable. And it changes the whole dynamic of a movie, because without it, you're sunk. And with it, you know, you'll get performances, you'll get energy out of people, not just the cast, but the crew as well, that you didn't know was there. And it does end up on camera. It's one of the biggest locations. I think there's really two major locations in the movie. One is Libya, which is where the steel factory is mostly taking place. It's playing as a few other bits too, but mostly it's our opening in Libya, which is a huge action sequence with cars and tanks and all kinds of crazy stuff, and wild stunts and all that. And the other major location of this movie is the boat itself, the Gintara. And that is also in Greece, and that is a set build. It's a 112-meter set that we built at the land that we purchased, our studio purchased, in order to really facilitate our entry into Greece and to really bolster the Greek film industry, which is what we're trying to do. And we used that land to build this enormous, you know, again, 112 meters of an aircraft carrier, a 4-story bridge in the middle of it. We've got, I think, 7 cranes, 9 scissor lifts, 180 light panels, dozens and dozens of huge lights, more cherry pickers and scissor lifts and Manitous and forklifts. I mean, it's Disneyland out there. We have really engaged that place. And that's what it takes to make a movie of this size, to make it look, you know, the way we need it to look, to play in the Hollywood theatrical world. We had to go all out, and that's the location where you see it the most, I think. I hope they have fun with it. I think it's meant to be a fun movie. I think it's meant to be, you know, the familiarity of the franchise is there, and I think it's fun. That kind of familiarity is pleasing to people. But to use that familiarity and again to slightly pivot it and go in a slightly new direction and watch these characters grow and change and again succeed and fail. I think that's a lot of fun, and I think that's I think the progression of this story as a continuation of the rest of the franchise really gives it a chance to really take off into a whole new level that this franchise hasn't seen yet, and I think that's possible.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. That was absolutely excellent. Really appreciate it.
Okay, I'm Neil McClean, costume designer on Expendables 4. The basis for Lash actually was herself, in the sense of that she has these incredible tattoos that are on her arms and on, you know, across her collarbone and chest. So that was a huge part of the costume that we designed around her, because now you've got me. Sorry, Simon. Scott really wanted to show off that, and as part of a character that she's playing, she's this beautiful Asian girl who is covered in these incredibly beautiful tattoos. So obviously with a costume, you don't want to hide that, because that also elevates her to a whole nother character. And therefore we decided the original idea for the mercenaries on the Jantara was more of a wintry, it's Rahmat's army. So that's a bit of a ragtag army, although he have retained a common thread of costume with camouflage and color-wise, we kept that throughout all of these mercenary characters. So taking those pieces, like the pieces of leather, you know, we've used only black leather, we've used dark greens, dark browns, and this very, very dark camo. So we could incorporate it. With Lash, she has a special weapon, which is called a whip chain, which is great because you can hide it. It's in her belt. It looks like a belt. So when they get tied up and have all their equipment taken, nobody realizes what she's actually got on her. Meanwhile, they've left her fully equipped to kill someone with it. So, you know, she's this like interesting dynamic character of this Asian ninja tattooed warrior, which is amazing. So yeah, it was really fun to dress her, and obviously she's stunningly beautiful and easy to dress. What's been challenging is all the military, because it is so heavily military laden, and with the Expendables themselves, all of those characters being dressed in military, is to create individual characters within the realm of that military look. Because if you're considering military as a costume, it's pretty much standard. You know, you've got the cargo pants, you've got a shirt which has got pockets, military, you have a flak vest. So using those basic elements that we had, adapting and changing them, incorporating leather, chopping up tactical vests to create new designs, you know, just taking the military, the basic military that we got from a lot of military shops, cutting it up, changing it, and pushing it a few steps forward to make it a little bit more edgy, more tight-fitting, especially with Megan Fox's look. You know, she has those really tight trousers, showing off, you know, physique, showing off a little bit more skin. All of that with all of the characters, not just Megan. We've done it with 50 Cent. We did it with Toll Road. Adding things like scarves, shamags, which have been used in previous ones, but just, with the original Expendables, it's trying to extend their character into just another element of their character. Like if you were a character 7 years ago, you've certainly changed in 7 years. You've become something else. There's a different dynamic to you. So it's just really, it's not a costume movie, but trying through costume to convey the essence of a character. And, something that Scott is happy with and something that the character themselves is happy with playing. And when they look at themselves in the mirror in a costume fitting, they go, yeah, now I can see the character, which is always really good. That was pretty much, with the freedom of having new Expendables to play with, it gives you that opportunity to, you've got this, like, imagine the actors are mannequins and you get given this amazing mannequin covered in already this really beautiful design, as we discussed with Lash. And you just embellish it, really. You take something that's not going to cover, that's going to close, but something that looks like military hardware, or could be military hardware. We're not doing a military documentary, so we have freedom to play and, give it a bit of a sort of character edge in the sense of, like, it's Expendables. You can push the envelope. Working with Jason has been amazing. It's incredibly collaborative as far as Jason is concerned. We actually started fitting Jason 3 weeks prior to the shoot. He is very much involved in every aspect of not only his costume but his props as well. He's incredibly particular about the look and the feel. He wants it to look as authentic as possible, but at the same time, we can, push the envelope. He likes the idea of very much a sort of like a vintage throwback to that military look, which we've tried to create with him. It's sort of like old SAS. Originally, at the beginning, we've kept him, as I said, continuity-wise from the previous Expendables. But he's also moved on from that. He's now in a relationship, which, as turbulent as it might be, he's a different character. I think that comes across in the storyline. He's changed throughout the Expendables 4. There's certain things that happen within the show that really do change him as an individual. And so his story really goes off at a tangent. So that what's really nice is then you play with all these different, he has more costume changes than anybody else because his story takes a whole nother route. So we got the opportunity of putting him in a suit. We had the opportunity of him wandering the streets of Thailand. We've got him going back on another mission. There were all these elements that came to play. I think there was 10 different costumes for him in total. And he was very, very much involved in every single one of them. Working with Scott has been great. Scott is super excited, has a great energy, is very involved. You can approach him at any time if you have costume questions. I always send him the process with normally when you're fitting a character, regardless of who they are, we'll do 3 or 4 options. Then I put together a presentation for him, send it off. He chooses the one he likes, or we discuss. I'll say, especially with the actors, like if I was, for example, Gunnar, we would say Gunnar prefers this one. What do you think? And then it's, like I said, it's a very collaborative process. Everybody gets involved. Luckily on this one, not so much the producers, but normally on other jobs, producers get involved as well. But on this, it's just been really between myself, the director, and the artist. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to almost relaunch Expendables and hopefully capture a whole new audience, as well as the existing fan base that they have, creating some amazing new characters, some incredible action scenes with obviously incredible costumes, and, just giving it a whole fresh reboot, and hopefully it'll, really reach all the people that it is meant to, and they'll love it as much as I've enjoyed working on it.
My name is Daniela Avramova. I'm a hair and makeup designer of the movie. I was shocked. I didn't expect to offer me this position, but it is a really big challenge for me, so I accepted. So we keep the already established tattoos for all the Expendables. We didn't add any extra tattoos except for Gina, which is the character that Megan Fox play, and they are incorporated in the script, so people will see them in the movie. I'm not gonna talk about them. Yes, Megan's tattoos, Gina's tattoos have meanings, and it's a whole scene and the dialogue going around them. So yeah, there is a meaning. So Lash was the most challenging character as a hair and makeup. First of all, she's the second female character in the Expendables team. So we need to make her a little bit more separate, like colors and vision, than the other one. So Scott came up with the idea, let's try something interesting. Let's do her blonde, for example. So even Levy by herself was not so excited from the idea to be blonde. But once we put the wig on her, everyone was absolutely sure that she should be with blonde till the end of the movie. So this is how Lash's look came up. So makeup and hair for the stunts in the action movie, it's we designed them together with stunt choreographers, also with the wardrobe designers, because all the injuries and all the blood and dirt gigs that we apply on the cast and the stunts, they should look realistic, so they should be involved somehow in the fight. So it's a really cruel, I mean, the whole, let's start from the beginning. How should I say that it's a collaboration from from all the departments. Oh, Scott is amazing. He's such an inspirational person. He's always coming up with some crazy, great ideas, but nothing impossible. So, and he's really the person that can light the fire in you. So just to start creating interesting stuff. Well, it's gonna be really excited to see the new cast, the new Expendables characters. And I think the script is really interesting. So it's gonna be really nice. The story and all the action stuff, it's gonna be really unexpected Expendables. The unique about this Expendables is mainly the cast. And in second level, I think the style of the fightings is gonna be slightly different than the previous Expendables, and how the action stuff gonna be slightly different comparing the other Expendables.
My name's Paul Pattison. I am Jason Statham's personal makeup designer or artist, whichever way you want to look at it. And we are at the moment on the set of Expendables 4 here in Bulgaria. The way I've become Jason's personal is I actually am a personal for quite a few people. I have a few people that I'm actually, get asked or requested for, which I'm very lucky. I met Jason 11 years ago on a film. We were doing a film called Killer Elite, and it was with Jason, Robert De Niro, and a great cast. And I met Jason there, and I was doing De Niro, but I was also looking after Jason. And after we finished that, Jason was on to another film, and he asked me, would I come along and do the makeup? And so I said, yeah, sure. So off we went, and we've been doing that ever since. Jason first talked to me about Expendables actually quite a while ago, and said it was coming up, and would I be interested in doing it? And now I'd done Expendables 2 and Expendables 3, and I really enjoyed the genre that we were doing. It's action, it's great action, and also the cast is always interesting, and having those people around all together is very unique in filmmaking. So it's really great to be amongst, you've got 50 Cent, you've got so many great people around you making this movie. So that's what inspired me to say, yeah, this is going to be great fun to come on board. when I get offered like a film like this, an action movie, and especially if you're looking after just one person, or as we say, you're looking after number one, we go through the process of looking at the script, seeing what is it's bringing to the table, and then myself with the actor, we will break down that script and go, look, you're going from being blown up to getting covered in mud, being covered in blood, or whatever it is. And then I will say, well, look, this is the way that we will apply the makeup and the look. And to get the look all the way through the film that looks rough and ready and goes with what the action is. And because we shoot out of sequence, we have to be dead on what we're doing so it all cuts together at the end. And that's a great process in the beginning to go, right, we do this and do that. Well, Expendables in a makeup design way for me is that we're going to do a lot of injuries. There's going to be people shot. There's people beating each other up. There's going to be lots of different scrapes and things. And for me as a designer, when you're doing these sorts of things, and Jason's an action hero, and he's got to look really cool, and he's got to look the best he can. So the makeup is designed around making it look as real as possible. I hate smudgy kind of makeup or a little drip of blood. We like to really make it edgy, and it also makes Jason look really cool. So that's the way we go with the design of the makeup. On a lot of films, you might do a lot of research depending on the genre of film you're doing, and if it's a period piece or something like that, you would do a lot of research on. But with an action film like this, it comes down to experience, to be completely honest. And you go, I know how to apply, I know how to do that, and I know the genre very well. So there's not much research. You've learned from years of going, I know what a bullet hit looks like, a real one. I know what it looks like if someone's got a broken nose. I know those things, so I can just do it. With the, in some segments of making the film, it becomes quite difficult when you are applying a certain makeup. And in this film, we're doing a sequence of events that Jason goes through certain situations. And all those situations are minutes apart, seconds apart. So it is a very difficult thing to put a makeup on and then progress the makeup when we're shooting over months. And I might have to apply a makeup that is only 2 seconds later in movie time, but I might not apply it for 2 weeks. So my planning and my pictures and everything I've got, it's got to be pretty spot on. So when it's cut together, you don't have people sitting at the movies going, he didn't have blood on there, and so that's challenging. And to make the makeup look consistent, it's also, and what I'd like to say is that a lot of people probably don't quite understand the process of what goes on when you're putting this stuff together. But you actually need to know not just the application of a makeup, you've really got to know how an action sequence is shot. You've got to know where the cuts will be or where they might jump to something else. And over time, you get to know this, and you get to know if the makeup's not completely correct, you can get away with it because there's going to be 5 or 6 or 10 seconds till we see the next thing. And so it's knowing the art of filmmaking to apply the makeup. The hardest thing, actually, I haven't actually had anything that I could really consider hard. I don't find things hard. I find them a bit challenging. We have a very good, funny time and a laugh. So it's great fun. We've gone to all corners of the world together. We've got to know each other very well, and apart from the film world, we support each other a lot when we're away from our families and everything. So yeah, we have a great time. Hence, we've been together 11 years.